Hey, it is me. My name is Carolyn Sanders. Most people know me as Kai. I welcome you to another live stream of introducing the new Emancipation Proclamation. I have some exciting news to share. Um, and so let's start with that. I've got quite a few things to share before I get into the bulk of my presentation. And I'm just excited to be here. So I started this. Let me start from the beginning. I started this endeavor with broadcasting live, so I could get comfortable with broadcasting live. And what ended up happening was God put it into my mind that this was an effort to be consistent. I had been attending my Every Dot Black meetings. And if you don't know about Every Dot Black, you should go and find out. Every Dot Black, that's the name of the website and the business. Dot Black is a new .com, baby. But when in the meetings that we have every Monday night, a lot of the people who are talking about, business and going into business, the one thing that they talk about is being consistent. And so that was something I had struggled with big time because there's a lot that's going on in the world and life, and just there's so much going on. Being one of God's research assistants, he has you doing a lot of work. And so I was engaged in a lot of things, and so I wasn't consistent, and I didn't use social media that often, and marketing is still not my thing, and I'm okay with that. But the idea of being consistent and doing a live broadcast every week I felt like something that I could do. That was what I told to do. And I felt like it was something I could do, especially because this is only going from 7 to 7:30. And so that was within my wheelhouse of ability. I could handle being consistent. And so this is the third stream. The first was on YouTube. It's actually the third stream on Thursday at 7. I've done 4 weeks of live streams. The first one was just I picked up the phone. I had put it out there on my Facebook that I was going to be live at 2, and I just ran with it. And so this is my third week of consistent live streaming, and I'm so excited. But what ended up happening in that is just me being, open, and me being here and just kind of talking is I received a message. You guys will probably know that being live, I get emotional a lot. I'm okay with that because God is just so good. And so I got this offer from Hallmarx Music. It's HALLMARX, Hallmarx Music. There's a young man by the name of Antoine Hilton that put out a CD called Eclectic through Hallmarx Music. And so Hallmarx Music reached out to me and asked if they could endorse me and talk about me on their show and in their correspondence and in their endeavors. And also if I would be willing to use Antoine Hilton's a clip from one of his songs as my intro and outro. And I was like, wow. This is just me doing what I was told to do. But what that taught me was that when you start doing things, that God will show you what your next step is. And so what I've come to realize is that this is just the beginning of something that I do need to add a little bit of professionalism to it, that it shouldn't just me being out there, that if I'm talking the new Emancipation Proclamation, then there has to be a level of professionalism to it. And so the first thing that I did, that I was led to do, was to come up with a name. So I've been calling this the introduction to the new Emancipation Proclamation. And that is really a subtitle. It's a segment series, is really. But the name of this endeavor right here, the show is what it is Love Notes. L.U.V. Learn Your Value is the it's an L.V.U. is an acronym for Learn Your Value, which is the Love Enterprises is the name of my company, the company that I've been led to create. I've been working on for over 10 years. And so the name of the show is called Love Notes. And this is a thought show, not a talk show, as I endeavor to bring your mind into a place where the thoughts that I share will empower you mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and put you on a path towards wealth in all those areas so that you can then attract wealth financially. Because true wealth, people can get rich, anybody can get rich, but true wealth doesn't come from outside of you. It has nothing to do with um has nothing to do with what's in your bank account. True wealth comes from what's inside. And so that's what I am endeavoring. That's what this endeavor is all about. It is, it is, that's what Love Notes is all about. And so every week I will share thoughts and talk and hopefully it will inspire you. And so when I received the intro, that I received a couple of edits for the intro, and I apologize because I've been figuring out what to do, and I finally had a chance to sit down and, I've been studying how to create this intro, like for a live stream and all this other stuff. And I went to download the thing today, and I can't because I was given a laptop where I am a guest, and you need an admin. You needed an admin account to download software and things on it. So you'll have to excuse the lack of professionalism this time. But I do want to play this because when I got this, I got 2 clips. And when I got the clips, I said, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is what Love Enterprises is all about. And so let me play this clip because this is Antoine Hilton's Change from his Eclectic CD. And I anticipate you'll be able to hear it. I'm gonna turn it all the way up. So hold on to your seats. It starts out, we have to be wise enough to know our wealth and love our neighbors as ourselves. And what we need now is change. And that's exactly, it's like the A, the B equals C. So I'm just so grateful because when this is the perfect example of why I am qualified. Because I am open and I put myself in all kinds of positions to meet all kinds of people. And you never know when somebody will see your light. And make a move for you. Excuse me. But this is a perfect segue into why I'm qualified. God gave me the name for my title for Love Enterprises a long time ago. And it's not the CEO, he's the CEO. But my title is the CBB. And it seems like such a silly thing because it stands for Chief Bushel Blaster. But what a bushel blaster is when you look in the scriptures in Matthew 5, and Christ is talking about, he's giving the Sermon on the Mount, and he's talking about light. And when he starts talking about a candle, he talks about how a candle was not meant to have bushels on it. It was meant to be put on a mantle to give light to the whole house. And because last week, and I talked about why I was qualified, two of the things I said was because I'm a mom, but the second reason was because I've made so many mistakes. So lots of people have tried to put bushels on my lights for years. And I've just blasted them. I've been blasting them. I still blast them to this day. And sometimes someone comes along and they just take off a bushel that somebody else has tried to put on. And that's my job. That's my main title for Love Enterprises. I'm the Chief Bushel Blaster. And what that means is that not that I have the ability to do all this work to help so many people, it's that I have the ability to gather, I have the information to gather the people who can make this happen, because it's not an individual effort. It's not just reading a book and applying that information. The Emancipation Proclamation is a toolbox for people, a toolbox of resources for them to change every aspect of their life in a systematic way. We've talked about systemic racism. Well, this is creating systemic wealth internally, so you attract it externally and you earn it externally. And so I'm qualified because I've had bushels put on my light. And I'm qualified because I'm willing to go through whatever God wants me to go through. Not true. I went through whatever God put me through. But I was asking him why and asking him what the message was. I fought. And what was good about God and how powerful he is the reason me and my son have been through in the 4.5 years of his life. He has just, we have been through so much, and he doesn't even realize it. He's just, everything is an adventure to him, because that's what I tell him it is. I don't think he's realized like how much of a struggle we've been through, because I've never alluded to it being a struggle. It's just another adventure. And so that was one thing. But he, if it wasn't for him, I would have done things a lot differently, and I would not have learned the lessons that I learned. We slept in the car. In the last year, just the experiences that we've been through, we've lived in a shelter, in a shelter experience. We've had that shelter experience. That was one of the things I'd never wanted to do. Never, ever wanted to do. Please, of all the things, please don't make me live in a shelter. But there was no way in the cold of winter that I was going to let my son sleep in a car. At that time, we didn't have one. My car had been totaled. And so we went through a shelter experience, and it was one of the most eye-opening experiences that I'd had. And I was so grateful for it. As painful as it was very eye-opening. And it also led us to a lot of the other experiences that we had that helped me to understand how important what I was doing in my endeavor to be a mom for my son was. It totally just blew my mind to see what I was endeavoring to give him and how many children didn't have it. And so even though I was kicking and screaming about going through some of the experiences that we were going through. Um, it was so important for me to go through them because I now know what I know. But it was because I asked God and I wasn't afraid to ask God and believe that He would give me information, that He would reveal Himself to me. And He did so much. I think I received more revelation during the time that we spent in the shelter experience than at any other time. And it wasn't like it was such a phenomenal experience. I had sleep deprivation, wisdom had sleep deprivation, and it was a truly awful experience, but I was just praying so much to get through it that God empowered me and gave me information. And it was the information that became part of this program. He just, and I had a lot of people didn't know what we were going through, but just the support system that I was surrounded with that didn't know exactly what was going on was so powerful. And that's all the power part of what I've been working on. And so I'm qualified because I wasn't afraid to ask questions. I didn't blame God. I just asked him and I sought to know more. And I sought to cleanse myself of whatever things I was doing wrong, that I knew that I was doing wrong, mostly because I still do so much wrong, um, so that I could have a clear reception to whatever he was telling me. That's really important. It's not just enough to profess that you're a woman of God. I want to be I want to be a pure. I want to be refined. And I've been through the refiner's fire. I'm still going through it. This is not a is not there's no perfect end result just yet. But um, because I've been available, made myself available to God, and with the clarity came the responsibility, and with responsibility comes action, right? When you know that you have a responsibility, somebody hands you, a task to be done. And so this task, the task of me having this information, came with dispensing it and using a big title like the new Emancipation Proclamation when I'm literally have, you know, n- no huge following, like have less than 1,000 Facebook friends. I don't even have an Instagram, But even with that, it only took one person to see that what I was doing was important, that God led him to me to see how important what I was doing, and to reach out and to share Antoine Hitlin's music and allow me to be um, empowered and I'm so excited about this opportunity to use this song to help change lives because it's like synchronicity. And so if I was sending shout outs to people, I would say thank you, Raleigh Hall, and thank you, Sarah Tui, because she's the one who told me about that word synchronicity. I don't believe in coincidences. I just didn't have a word for what it was called. And so she taught me that word synchronicity. And so it's amazing. This has been such an amazing experience. It has been the hardest year of my life, I would suggest, especially with a little guy. Um, so there's been a lot of internal turmoil in just so many different aspects. And at the same time, it's probably been one of the best years I've lived, just because God has just opened the doors to so much in so many ways. And I love that. I love that. I love that I'm so loved by God. And I want everybody to have that experience. I want everybody to feel like they're one of God's favorites. A friend of mine long ago, her dad used to say that, talk about how you're one of God's favorites. Now, I know I am. And so when people talk about me, I'm like, thank you. Regardless of what they're saying, positive or negative, you know what? It doesn't even faze me anymore. And so I'm excited about that because my wealth is within me. I know that who I am, and I know that God loves me. There is no greater wealth that I could have in this moment. So we're getting close to the end. It's already 7:21. I want to take a moment and share this eclectic spot for y'all so that y'all know how to get in touch and learn more about the CD because it is amazing. Um, so if y'all just give me a minute, I'm going to pull it up and play it. And hopefully you can hear it. Yes. I love it. And this is so in tune with like who I am, like that mix of of gospel, God, and good love. You know, there shouldn't be any separation. You know what I mean? So this is the stream work is 7:22, and I said I was only going to keep this to 30 minutes or less. And so I just want to make an announcement. I had originally anticipated doing a resurrecting Black Love Week starting tomorrow. And that is going to change just because me and my son are in the process of moving and getting settled in the next week. And so next week, what I'm going to do is start with um, a segment about Black Love Day because technically next Thursday is August 13th and it's 6 months from Black Love Day. I had originally got this thought for Resurrecting Black Love Week based on a website. There's a gentleman he's actually out of Cary, North Carolina. His name is Michael Gerber. He runs a website called theromantic.com. And that's no endorsement. It was something I was interested in a long time ago. And he has this thing called where he considers the second full week in August, resurrecting romance week, because it's 6 months after Valentine's Day, which he dubs as the least romantic holiday of the year. And so it was interesting to me because Black Love Day, I found out a year ago, in 2019, that Black Love Day is February 13th. And so it made sense to me that there was a Resurrecting Black Love Week to go along with 6 months from Resurrecting Black Love Day. And so next week, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then daily between the 2 weeks, I'm going to talk about um, the parable of the exceptional Samaritan, because that is a huge part of what the new Emancipation Proclamation is all about. It's the implementation of that parable. And most people know it as the parable of the Good Samaritan. That's not what I'm calling it. That's not what I was led to call it when I did an intimate study with God. And so I'm breaking it down piece by piece, over starting next Friday night. And it's going to be in 30-minute increments every day and 7 o'clock right here on this channel. And so I'll make sure I work on getting those ads up. In the meantime, I need to, because this is what I'm focusing on, and the components of the new Emancipation Proclamation. It does have a different name, but that's the nickname that God gave it. In the meantime, I want y'all to know that I have stuff to sell. I was working on a bunch of craft projects. I've gone through my storage unit and stuff like that, and I honestly don't have time to finish them. So I am selling them as is. I've got a bunch of, like here, I have a bunch of denim bags I've been working on just out of old jeans to make them into purses. All they need is like a handle, but I have probably like 10 of those in various ways of being completed. Most of them have, this one's just inside out, but most of them have been sealed on the bottom in one way, shape, or form, whether it's by a sewing machine or actually fabric glue. This one has been sealed. This one actually, I just need to add some, I need to sew the handles on so it's pinned. So I might finish some of these. It's just that they're taking a long time. Like here's another one. these are hand like quilted denim quilt straps, I guess you could say. Those were kind of becoming my signature. And I also have this one that I kind of made some straps for that they need to be attached. And so I also have some other projects that I was working on. This is jewelry that I made out of spoons and forks. So these were supposed to be bracelets, but I didn't have the tools to bend them really. And so I had those, and then I've got this pendant that I made. It's just glue and beads, really pretty. And then this one is actually made out of paper. It was supposed to be a pendant with earrings. And so I'm getting rid of it. So check my blog, which is Love Enterprises Presents, L-U-V Enterprises Presents.blogspot.com for more information. And otherwise, I'm going to be getting out of here because it is time to go. It is 7:27 and I'm out of here. I want to say thank you everyone for joining me. It is so awesome to be a part of this experience. And yeah, I'm going to let Antoine Hilton take us out of here and take us home and remind us that we need to know our wealth and love our neighbors as ourselves. Thank you so much. Again, this is Kai with Love Enterprises, the CBB, the Chief Bushel Blaster from Love Enterprises. And we've got some things going on. We've got some things started here. So keep up with me. We'll be back here, same time, same channel next week. Y'all, take care. Is change. Amen, y'all. Create today. Peace. With